Good morning, everyone. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather, and we have something that we haven't had in a while. We have severe weather to talk about. This complex of storms is making its way southward. We talked about this yesterday. We were expecting this. We've had rain the last couple of days, and we got more than we expected in both of those situations. I will say, when we had the storms, that first round when it came to Monday morning there, I didn't expect to wake up to a flash flood warning, and then Tuesday morning yesterday, storms were a little further north than I expected and a little more intense, so we had some pretty heavy activity going on. But this morning we were expecting this, and we knew that we had the possibility of possibly a few marginally severe storms. This is going to be a wind and hail threat primarily. So this warning, which goes for about another half hour here, I believe. Let me get the cursor if it'll go. Yeah, about another 20 minutes left on this warning for 60 mile per hour winds and 1-inch hail. So that is essentially the lower end, kind of the bottom of the threshold for a severe storm. So this is not a particularly dangerous storm necessarily, but it could bring some strong winds and hail to this area. You see another storm here, and it's a little hard to tell. This is along a cold front, so we've got some waves going on as that front makes its way through. So it looks like there's another storm south of Weatherford that's headed almost towards the Godley area there. I don't expect most of this to really be precipitation. It's hard to tell. Again, it's going right through the radar location, causing some distortion there. But without question, the strongest part of all of this activity is southern Dallas County, central Kaufman County, heading into northern Ellis County here. The other concern could be some localized flooding, but the good news is this is moving about 30 miles per hour, moving fairly quickly. So as it does that, it's going to continue to push on to the south fairly quickly in this area. So that's going to prevent really too much of a flooding problem from happening there. It is a loud storm, though. You can see a lot of lightning with this one, so you do want to make sure you're indoors. I don't know why anybody would be outside at 4 a.m. if you're not maybe running a farm or something like that. The other good news is the strongest part of this storm with the hail core was in you see it tracking here from downtown Dallas on towards Oakleaf, Ovilla area there, does appear to be weakening. So we haven't had a new warning issued yet for Ellis County, so we will have to see if they do issue a new warning, a downstream warning as we would call it. But at the moment, we're not seeing that be the case. So this storm does look like it could be weakening below severe levels. I'm not seeing a particular threat of strong winds with this storm at this time. Definitely some gusty winds, but not a severe wind situation. We'll take a quick look at that. See if I can get things better positioned here. I'm just not seeing any kind of core of very strong winds with this storm. Again, gusty winds for sure, but I'm not seeing any dangerous winds out of this particular storm. If we look at the hail threat as well, out of practice here. Let's see. There we go. Just north of Oakleaf. Again, probably still some small hail with this storm. That's going to be right there, kind of in that DeSoto area. So as that continues to move southward towards the Oakleaf area, you could get some small hail out of this, but it does look like the hail threat itself is deteriorating for the moment. Let's get back to that reflectivity here, and I'll show you that this is a fairly noisy storm. You can see all of the lightning from Cedar Hill, DeSoto on through southern Dallas County into Kaufman County. Just lots and lots of lightning. Plenty of thunder with this one too. I'm in Waxahachie. I can already hear this one coming with all of the thunder that is coming from this storm. So you will know it's there. It will bring heavy rain, plenty of lightning and thunder. It will make a show, but the good news is that we do not yet have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for this storm. It does appear that it's weakening. Now, this does not mean that it cannot intensify again. Time and time again, we have seen these storms that tend to cycle up and then weaken and then strengthen and then weaken again. So we could very well see a situation where this storm picks up its intensity as it continues on southward. We could very easily see it cycle up again as it moves into Ellis County. So if you're in Midlothian, Red Oak, Oakley, Fovilla area, Pecan Hill, Ferris, you're going to probably already at least hear this storm coming, and it will be headed your way here in the next few minutes. As I mentioned, it is moving about 30 miles per hour, and that's a pretty good clip for a storm. It's not exactly hanging around. So if we take a broader look here across our area, you can see this line of storms here. You have this main complex in southern Dallas County going into parts of Kaufman County, and then you see the kind of the mix here. And I just want to take another look. Let's see if we can get another area. Well, we can't use that radar. That one is down. So this kind of cleans it up a little bit. Let's use the Love Field radar. This makes it a little more clear. It kind of takes some of the clutter away, some of the things that are happening there. You can see this complex, and then again, this storm south of Weatherford, north of Granbury, just outside of the Godley area. So that's really what we're looking at. If anything, this storm might be severe warned at some point as that one continues on. And our main complex here, which does have the existing severe thunderstorm warning. So it's a little tough to see. There's some interference going on with the radar here. And I joked with myself last night that all of the clutter is probably all the crickets we saw, right? It was at a baseball game. Crickets were everywhere. So this is where we have the main complex of storms. Again, southern Dallas County. You see north of there towards Euless and towards Plano, up towards Anna and Leonard as well. So smaller storms behind it, but this is definitely going to be that main complex. The other good news is it's through here fairly early, and it should, I think, be out of most of our area by the time we get to rush hour. I really think that we're pretty much going to be done with this by the time we get to 6 o'clock or so. I mean, it's only, let's see. Oh, come on. It's only about 4:30 here, and I just realized we're missing a couple of things. Let's get the clock up there, and where is Jimmy? Need to get our early morning sponsor there as well. Jimmy Porch, of course, still the sponsor of these live streams. He's hung around here at South Metro Weather, so thankful to him for that. And Melissa Francis just starting to get rain in Glen Heights. Yeah, I mean, it's surprising to me that it's just starting to rain in Glen Heights, but the storm has been in that area for quite a while here. So moving into Pecan Hill here, moving into Ferris as well. The strongest part of that storm again from the Oakleaf area on up to DeSoto there. That's that strongest part of the storm. But again, not seeing a major hail threat or anything, not a major wind threat from this either. But we can shift our focus over to the other storm here, this one near Crescent. I think I was saying Godley, closer to Crescent at this point. Right here. So this is Parker County heading into northern Somervell County towards, I would say, far northwestern portions of Johnson County here. So this storm here does look like it could be intensifying. So we could see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for this storm eventually as it continues moving southward as well. I'm going to put this back into motion. We'll kind of get recentered here. So this is our complex, and this is going to continue southward. So it will make its way through Ellis County, will continue on into Navarro County, and it does look like this warning will probably be canceled fairly soon. This storm has been weakening a bit, not quite as intense as it was through parts of Dallas County. Certainly that wind and hail threat has been diminishing somewhat, but we'll see if that will continue to weaken or if it could cycle up again. That's always a possibility with these storms, though I will say the National Weather Service, or more specifically the Storm Protection Center, did have that severe weather threat pretty well limited to Dallas and Tarrant counties on north. So it's a very real possibility that this storm will follow the script and continue to move southward. And I see lots of folks in the comments here just trying to follow your discussion here. I appreciate everyone that is awake very early with me here. And all of this is part of this second cold front. Now, today we will have temperatures sticking around in the 80s. I'm sure there won't be any complaints there. This particular complex is part of a low pressure system that will be presumably swallowing up the Hurricane Helene. Right now, I think I haven't actually checked. Has Helene reached hurricane strength yet? I don't know if she no. Okay, so still Tropical Storm Helene off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula there, probably becoming a hurricane soon. So as it does, this low pressure system that is sending this cold front through will actually basically swallow up that hurricane once it goes inland and weakens, called the Fujiwara effect. A very interesting weather phenomenon that we will probably see play out. And trust me, I will be watching that very closely. Amber Gunn, you're asking what time the storm will be in Corsicana. If I had to guess, we're probably about an hour away from the Corsicana area, possibly a little less. I mean, this thing is moving fairly quickly, but does, again, continue to look like it is weakening. So as this moves southward, I would say in the Corsicana area, you'll be getting the heaviest part of this probably within the next hour or so. That severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled here, so this storm continues to weaken below severe limits, so it has been allowed to expire. Really, it's been canceled early in southern parts of Dallas County, not issued for parts of northern Ellis County. Again, though, that does not mean this storm is not going to make some noise as it moves southward. So from Midlothian to Red Oak, Ovilla, what am I trying to say? Oakleaf area. It is early in the morning, folks. Ferris area on towards Kaufman and on towards Canton there. So this is the most intense part of what we have coming through this morning. There's one more storm. You can see it way over here to the west towards the Crescent area, towards parts of Somerville and Johnson counties. And so that is moving southward. Some of this is false radar echoes here. We had this cold front coming in. That's actually causing what at least looks to be some gravity waves there, something that you can sometimes see when these fronts are coming through. But just to kind of broaden this out for you, let's see if I can get a wider radar view here. This is all part of a cold front, so you can see our complex here, see that other storm, and then it kind of extends outward. So this is a cold front that is moving through. We'll have temperatures in the 80s today, and this will actually bring the drier air that I have been waiting for. I don't like the humidity, not in any stretch of the imagination, and so we will get the drier air from this push of cooler air, this cold front, that will bring some of those dew points down. Yesterday evening, I was at that baseball game, and it was cooler, but it was still humid. It was still gross out there. So that still can take a bit of a toll on you. And of course, we do have not the weather cat, but a cat that just had to be in here, right? There's always got to be one. So you can see the story on the radar here. I needed to grab a quick sip of coffee. You can see the story here. This complex of storms making its way southward. The strongest part of this right in the Oakleaf, Red Oak area here. So that continues to move on south, but we are seeing this complex stay below severe limits for the time being. It does appear to be steadily weakening. And as we look back through, on another screen, I look through what this storm was doing in Dallas. Pretty decent hail core up there that did weaken as it moved into southern Dallas County, and so they did allow that severe thunderstorm warning to expire, and no new warning was issued. But this complex will continue to move southward, but it does look like it will weaken as it does so. Now, let's see here. I'm checking to see this little piece of the storm kind of nosing ahead. It doesn't necessarily look like we're looking at a big hail, or a big wind threat here, but I'm waiting to see what this update on the velocity view does here. I'm looking on another screen. I want to see what that looks like. Okay, I'm not seeing any kind of increase in winds here. Sometimes when you see a part of the storm nose ahead like this, that can indicate an increase in wind speeds. I'm not seeing that at this point, but very heavy rain, very loud storm here, but it does, again, it does appear to be weakening here. So that is the trend with this complex. Doesn't mean that it's not still going to be noisy. So this will push southward about 30 miles per hour. It is moving fairly quickly. Just in the 15 or so minutes that we've been on the air, it has already moved into parts of Ellis County, and it will continue to move southward into Navarro County here. Again, someone asked about Corsicana. I would say it'll be there within the hour. So it won't be long before this is moving into parts of Navarro County. Presumably, though, could be in an even weaker state going forward, though. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the broadcast here. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I will continue to post updates on this as it continues to move through parts of Ellis County, again, into parts of Navarro County here. The severe weather threat at this point has passed. It doesn't look like we will be looking at a severe weather threat from this complex of storms, at least in the very near future, but I will bring live coverage back if that is necessary as this complex of storms moves through early on a Wednesday morning here in north central Texas.